London is an eclectic city, blending the old traditions and new influences in an inspiring mixture. Walking in the streets of London, you can find architectural masterpieces from different ages and different styles. Here we are in front of the Athenaeum Hotel in Mayfair with a distinctive green wall which combines plain and exotic plants. It is kind of a small heaven in the central part of London. When I found it, I was amazed by this really very nice view. The next thing I saw was the doorman.
Good morning, my name is Jim Burns. I'm the doorman at the Athenaeum Hotel in London, Piccadilly. I've worked here for 28 years. As you can see, it's a fine and sunny day in London. And I would like to introduce you to some of the facets of the hotel. Initially, the living wall. The living wall was built in 2009. It was designed by a French horticultural artist called Patrick Blanc, and it was built by Daniel Bell in conjunction with Patrick Blanc. There was 260 separate species of plants here, which grew naturally on valley walls with very little soil. And these are the plants he chose to place here. And then over the next year, they matured into proper plants, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Some sort of fusion of nature and man-made artificial environment, and they're taking over. Welcome to the Athenaeum. You have no idea how many times I've done this door. Wish I could count it. Violina. Do you play chess?
Kind of, but I'm a very basic player, to be honest. And maybe I would ask you to show us the landmarks, because I recognize some of them, but not all of them, to be honest. Can you show us?
Okay, well look, sadly you can't get all of the landmarks of London in a chessboard, but they've tried to do as best they can. The most iconic, sadly, is one of the smallest here. It's the Rook, which is Big Ben. But of course, Big Ben is the bell inside. The next one, which wasn't particularly liked when it was first built, and it was only given a 6-year lease, but it's become such an iconic picture of London, due to, I suppose, the New Year's Eve celebrations being held on the London Eye. There are two things which absolutely are quintessentially English and British, and one's Buckingham Palace, and obviously the changing of the guard. There's nothing more iconic. It's seen worldwide, the changing of the guard, and the soldiers protecting the Queen of a country, the monarchy. Although the palace isn't a particularly beautiful building, it is a symbol worldwide. And then you've got the Tower of London, which was built by William the Conqueror, 1066, and the central White Tower was built 1,000 years ago, and then the Tower of London built around it. But of course, it was already a fort with the Romans. So the Romans made their fort of Londinium there. So it has this incredible history. But these two buildings, I would say, are the things you must see if you come to London. Generally, there's most of these really modern buildings are ultra modern. They're controversial, and people, the traditionalists, resent change. They want everything to be in the tradition, to keep in tone with the surrounding buildings. But of course, you can't do that because we're not one architectural period. It's an evolving city, which retaining most of what we want to keep. A lot of the stuff from the 70s, thankfully, have taken away. But you've got to imagine the City of London with the Bank of England and Fleet Street and all these amazingly old buildings, and then they built this steel and glass tower with the lifts on the outside. It's like it's like a real statement, and nobody liked it. Now it's one of the most popular buildings in London. As people, and I say the London Eye here, it was a fairground. It sort of lowered the tone. Nobody wanted it, but now it's become, we're wholly embracing it, and we won't let go. And I hope it will stay there for many, many years.